After earlier appearing to struggle over the line between free speech and public safety, a new resolve on some of the college campuses that have been at the center of protests over the conflict in Gaza. Nowhere more boldly than at New York City's Columbia University, where NYPD officers were called on by the university to breach a historic building that had been seized and barricaded by protesters, and to shut down the protest encampments. Over 100 people were arrested, and there were violent clashes with protesters at the University of Wisconsin, where police also moved against encampments, even as new ones are appearing at campuses across the country. While the police actions were unwelcome by protesters, at UCLA, a very different story. Pro-Palestinian demonstrators there asking where were the police when they came under attack by pro-Israel activists. Erin McLaughlin starts our coverage.
Tonight, police crackdowns continue on college campuses across the country. At the University of Wisconsin-Madison, clashes. 4 officers injured and dozens of pro-Palestinian protesters arrested.
We plan to be here until our demands are met, no matter what.
While Jewish students say they also want their voices heard.
But we just wanted to show that we're here and that we're not scared.
At the University of Texas, Dallas, tents taken down. Meanwhile, Columbia University says it had no choice but to call the police.
The police are making their way onto the campus. Dozens of officers.
Overnight, more than 100 were arrested on campus. Police releasing this video with no audio, showing officers in riot gear taking back control of the historic Hamilton Hall and the encampment.
I was terrified.
Student Mohammed Hameda says he was on campus during the raid to stand in solidarity with the protesters occupying the hall.
Whatever happened to our peers who were inside Hamilton, many of whom we know and are friends with, we wanted to make sure that we record what happened.
Hameda says police moved him and others into a dorm where he stayed for nearly 3 hours.
What I personally saw mainly was the NYPD officers in our face, and I saw students being dragged out of there in handcuffs, the blockade, the human chain that was outside of it being cleared.
The encampment, once full of protesters and tents, now cleared. Today, University President Manoush Shafiq explained why she called the police, saying the occupation of Hamilton Hall was destruction, not political speech, pointing to students who felt uncomfortable and unwelcome because of the disruption and anti-Semitic comments. Mayor Eric Adams says outside agitators co-opted the student protest.
We saw individuals holding doors. We saw individuals doing training. They were not students. They did not belong on the property, and they have a long history of participating in this type of discourse.
How many of those individuals were students, and how many of those individuals were so-called outside agitators?
And that's an analysis that's taking place right now.
Today off campus, faculty protested the police intervention, pointing to the police crackdown on the same hall in 1968.
It's clear that shared governance, meaning the capacity of faculty, students, and staff to interact with senior administration to come to resolutions of difficult problems is the lesson learned from 1968. That lesson was lost yesterday.
And Erin joins us from Columbia University. Erin, we're hearing about potential police activity at nearby Fordham University in New York.
That's right, Lester. Moments ago, the NYPD said that university has also requested their assistance on campus to disperse protesters and that arrests will begin there imminently. Lester.
Erin McLaughlin, thank you. Across the country, the protests turned violent at UCLA, highlighting the issues that so many colleges have been struggling with since the protests began. Liz Kreutz is in Los Angeles.
At UCLA, tensions between protesters boiling over as counter-protesters, some en masse, storm the pro-Palestinian encampment overnight. Violence erupting, videos show protesters fighting, some being pepper sprayed and fireworks thrown into the encampment. Eventually, police and riot gear arrived but made no arrests.
Things have now calmed down here. Police were able to come and break up the fights between protesters, but there's a heavy police presence still here and a lot of tension on campus.
As protesters spend their 7th day camped out, some students saying their rights to move freely around campus have been infringed.
I have my ID right here. I'm being blocked off.
Outspoken pro-Israel student Eli Sivis posted this video of what he says were protesters not allowing him to access a pathway near the encampment.
They created their own checkpoint at this entrance, and I saw this and I said, no, absolutely not. This is public land. I pay tuition here. I deserve to walk this path to class if I so choose to.
The incident condemned by the university, but sparking a debate about the balance between free speech, access at a public university, and safety on campus. Yama is a pro-Palestinian protester who says she was pepper sprayed overnight.
They're saying that what we're doing is unlawful, but what I've seen in the encampment is that we are trying to be as peaceful, and we are trying to ensure that everyone is safe and that our community members are protected in their right to protest.
By an NBC News count, nearly 50 U.S. colleges and universities nationwide have encampments with students demanding their schools divest from Israel over the country's war in Gaza. Places like Yale, Indiana University, and Arizona State. 2 schools, Brown and Northwestern, have reached preliminary agreements to de-escalate tensions. The unrest playing out in different ways on some campuses. This American flag at UNC put back in place and protected in part by a group of fraternity brothers after protesters had replaced it with a Palestinian flag. It's all part of a decades-long history of protests on college campuses helping to spark change over issues like the Vietnam War and South Africa's apartheid. But the right to protest has limitations.
There's robust protection for First Amendment activities when it comes to speech, when it comes to expressive conduct. But there are limits, and one of those limits obviously is violence.
And Liz joining us now from UCLA, where classes were canceled today. Liz, what comes next there?
Well, Lester, there's still a heavy police presence here, but so far they've stayed away from this encampment. This, though, is the university yesterday called the encampment unlawful and began telling students they were going to have to leave. Just moments ago, though, protesters here held a press conference saying they will not leave until their demands are met. And Lester, you might be able to see behind me, the students here are at the encampment fortifying it right now tonight. Lester.
All right, Liz Kreutz in Los Angeles. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.